Madam President, I am here today on the floor again to ask that Senate Republicans stop blocking the next step in regular order and allow us to move to a bipartisan budget conference with the House of Representatives. We have waited long enough. In fact, we have now waited 54 days, and it is really time to get to work on a bipartisan budget agreement. On this side, Senate Democrats see no reason to delay this. We are very proud of our budget, which puts forward a strong, fair vision for getting Americans back to work and tackling our long-term debt and deficit challenges and really laying a strong foundation for the middle class in the future. It seems, Madam President, that some of our Republican colleagues in the Senate and House would rather wait now until the next crisis and see if they can extract political concessions with the clock ticking. Or maybe they don't want to air the details of the unpopular House budget. Either way, there is no excuse for putting the American people through another round of partisan brinksmanship. We have already seen that that hurts our economy, and it causes Americans to question whether their government is really working for them. Just yesterday, the House Republicans met to talk about what they're going to demand in exchange for not tanking our economy. Apparently, they are considering, and I quote, a laundry list, including repealing Obamacare, which the House will vote on, by the way, for the 37th time today, and restrictions on women's health choices. You know, House Republicans' practice of leveraging crises for their own gain died with the Boehner Rule, and no amount of wishing is going to bring it back. Because, Madam President, House Republicans may think brinksmanship helps them win political fights, but, Madam President, it does not help our American families and communities, and that is who we are here to serve. So I urge our Republican colleagues in the Senate to take a step towards a responsible, bipartisan budget agreement and a step away from governing by crisis. And I now ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 33, H-Con Res 25, that the amendment which is at the desk, the text of S-Con Res 8, the budget resolution passed by the Senate, be inserted in lieu thereof, that H-Con Res 25 as amended be agreed to, the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table, that the Senate insist on its amendment, request a conference with the House on the disagreeing votes of the two houses, and the chair be authorized to appoint conferees on the part of the Senate, all with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
Madam President.
Senator from Utah.
Madam President, reserving the right to object, we want to proceed to this as well. We want a budget. It's been 4 years. It's been far too long. What we want to avoid is a deal negotiated behind closed doors, a backroom deal to raise the debt limit. And so I would ask consent that the senator modify her request so that it not be in order for the Senate to consider a conference report that includes reconciliation instructions to raise the debt limit.
Madam President,
Senator from Washington.
Reserving the right to object. The senator's request is asking to disregard what the Senate did on those days, 54 days ago now, to go through over 100 amendments and defeat those amendments time and time again, and go to conference, not behind closed doors, I would add. A conference committee is a committee that is out in the public. What is happening right now is closed-door disagreements. What we are asking for is an open process where we are allowed to take the Senate-passed budget and the House-passed budget and go to conference and find out where we can agree so we can put this behind us. So I object to the senator's request and ask again for our UC to move to budget conference as we do in regular order, which is what the Republicans have been demanding for a very long time.
Madam President.
Objections heard. Does the senator from Utah object?
I object.
Objection is heard. Senator from Alabama.
Madam President, we've gone 4 years without a budget, and the Democratic Senate did act this year and passed a budget. The House has also passed a budget. It's a historic budget. It bounces in 10 years. It doesn't raise taxes. Excuse me. It balances in 10 years. It does not raise taxes. And it increases spending every year by as much as 3%. It's the right way to go for America, and it's the kind of budget we should be talking about. On the regular order, Chairman Murray has indicated we should go regular order, but on the regular order, what we do is we have the House budget at the desk right now. It's a responsible budget. It's on the regular order. It should be brought to the floor under Section 305B of the Congressional Budget Act, and then we can have full debate on that budget with 50 hours and the ability to offer amendments. So, Madam President, I think this is what we should be doing. Instead, our Democratic colleagues and Senator Reid have offered consent requests that short-circuit the regular order. Their request would automatically bring the House budget off the calendar, replace it entirely with the Senate's own budget, and assume its passage without a single minute of debate or without single vote being taken. That's not the regular order. So, Madam President, first I would ask consent that after my remarks, Senator Inhofe be recognized.
Is there objection?
Madam President, I object. I would just like
right.
to respond to the senator.
All right, I understand that. I'm sorry.
Objection
So, Madam
is heard.
President, I would ask consent that the Senate now proceed to the consideration of calendar number 33, H. Con. Res. 25, the House-passed budget resolution for fiscal year 2014.
Is there objection?
Madam President, reserving the right to object, what the senator is requesting us to do is to take up the House-passed budget. Remember, we have passed a Senate budget here. We had 50 hours of debate. Over 100 amendments were offered. We voted on all of them way into the wee hours, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, as everyone here will greatly remember. He's asking us to disregard all that action in the Senate, take up the House bill, and have 50 hours more of debate, unlimited amendments, sitting here for weeks at a time again to go through all the amendments. And Madam President, that's a waste of taxpayer money. It's a waste of our time. We have done that work. It's time to go to conference, and therefore I object.
Objection is heard.